today with Mr. Paul Rivett, number 22, former multiple Clio Cup champion and turned truck racer. Just having a look at your silverware, Paul, it's fair to say you've got a substantial amount.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's the first time I've actually had them all out in a long time. It's been really nice to see. A lot of their lives have lived in boxes and bits and not having space to put them out. So yeah, my wife calls this the office, I call it the trophy room, and it's nice coming in here. I've got some great memories, I really have. I mean, next to me here, for instance, first ever race, 88, Candee Kart Club, Blackbush, for anybody that knows it. And yeah, third place in that one. Followed shortly after, same year, by first win in December 88, again at Candee Kart Club. A little bit dusty, unfortunately, these ones. But yeah, so you know, there's some really great memories for me here in you know, looking at these. As a first Clio Winter Championship 2001. Great story actually about how we finished the last race in that one that we might come into a bit later on.
Yeah.
And what else we got? 2002 first Clio Cup championship win, main championship. 2004 again. The one for 2000 and I'm trying to think when the next one was now. 2011 was my sponsor Matthew Munson and Q52.
Yeah.
Per High, they have the whole set of trophies for that year in the championship one. That's something I wanted to do for Matthew. As you know, as it was, without him I wouldn't have been racing. And you know, as anybody that knows me, they'll know how much I appreciate my sponsors and everything that they do for me. So
that comes across working with you so far. And me and you were teamed up this year, weren't we? WD Banner and Tacosis. We were supposed to be gunning for the British Truck Racing Division 2 Championship, weren't we? But
we were, and obviously COVID situation. Well, it is what it is, and it's been a funny year for all of us, I'm sure, and really looking forward to getting back to some racing. What it has allowed us to do is we're in the middle of building a new truck, so Wayne and WDE and the guys, they're halfway through putting a new truck together. So we've bought Andy Lovenbury's Renault, which I believe is an ex-Works Renault.
Yeah, Frankie Wojciech built truck. That was a very, very good truck.
So it's a really good chassis, really good base to start with. We'll be running the D28 in it that we ran last year, and being recabbed with a DAF.
I think the fans are going to really like that, aren't they, seeing another DAF out there?
Yeah, and the reason we went for DAF as well, you know, with WD and Wayne running the you know, the truck. So Joanne's racing truck is a DAF. Wayne is going to recab his MAM to a DAF, and we'll all have DAFs basically, and all the D28s in. So it will work really well, I think, with all three of us having the same. And
definitely,
the more you can have bits the same across all of them, I think the better it is. Cause,
it looked lovely as a team, wouldn't it? It looked very good.
Yeah, so really, really looking forward to that. So it has given them the chance to, you know, to work away on that truck this year. So that's the one advantage, but let's face it, we'd all prefer to be at the track.
Well, that's something you were saying is quite important as well, isn't it? Like, out of everyone, Wayne's really pushed the build forward, isn't he, during COVID-19? You were saying he's still running 7 trucks full time, isn't he?
So, you know, Wayne's amazing, and he really is. He started his logistics business, WD Logistics, as well as the WD recruitment. So he's now got 7 of his own lorries out on the road. Also doing all his own driver training for, you know, so he can train drivers, get them into the recruitment side, get them out in other people's lorries or in his lorries. So Wayne's gradually taking over the southeast of England with his lorries, which is great
they're all
to see.
Beautifully turned out as well, aren't they? They're such a lovely fleet.
Lovely fleet of lorries, all running Tacosis remote download equipment, which has been brilliant for COVID, because obviously everything can be downloaded remotely. Nobody's got to be in and out these trucks needlessly. So so that's a great thing that, you know, that Tacosis have there. Their equipment is fantastic. It really is. I've been learning a little bit about that over the last few years as well. So
you've been working with them for quite a while now, haven't you? It seems like a great company.
Tacosis have been our headline sponsor now for quite a few years. You know, through the last I think it's 3 seasons of Clios, and now into the trucks, and you know, hopefully they'll be with us for the foreseeable future. Very nice company, very nice people. and come along to as many races as they can, and it's always great to have them there. Become very good friends as well as sponsors.
I bet they're happy to be involved in the British Truck Racing Championship though now as well, aren't they?
It's perfect for them.
Yeah.
So it was something that made the switch from Clios to trucks just that bit easier, because it just fitted in all ways round, and for people that know me, that know that I did the one-off race meeting back in at Snetterton,
2017, I think.
2017, yeah, and I absolutely loved it. It was just great fun. So the natural thing was really, it just fitted so well with WD and with Tacos. It's just to make that move across into trucks.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed it so much. It's just so different. It really is, and it's real raw racing. It's back to there's so much more to do as a driver inside. Inside the truck, you've got to make sure everything's right. You've got to. It's a real different art, and for me, racing it's not about how fast your car is or how fast your truck. It's about how much fun you can have and how competitive it is. And I love the close racing. That's why I've always loved one make stuff with the Clios. I love the trucks, love the reverse grids in the trucks. For me, a race, if I qualify and pole and drive off in the lead of a race, I mean, it's obviously always enjoyable to win, but my most fun races are coming through the field and and racing people, and it really is so. And trucks is absolutely brilliant for that. We get 4 races every weekend. We get the reverse grids in those.
Yeah. You were saying previously you do very much enjoy the reverse grid side of it, don't you? It keeps it very interesting.
I really do. Yeah, it is so good, and it's the last thing people want to see when we go race, fields spreading out, leaders disappearing off, and it just spreading out. People want to see battles all the way through, and as a driver, I just want to be part of those battles all the way through. That's what I go racing for.
As I was telling you, and a lot of people have seen online this week, I've caught up with several teams recently, and looks like definitely a challenge ahead. Everyone's up their game for whenever the season restarts, but we're sort of looking forward to that, really, aren't we? Because that's what we want to see, close racing. You want to win properly, don't you?
Yeah, very much so. I mean,
it's an exciting time, definitely.
Yeah, this year for us now is going to be about getting the new truck out and getting it tested, and really aiming for the championship for next year.
Yeah.
Obviously, the original goal was to really try and fight for that championship this year, but with things being the way they are, we're now gearing up for next year. So we'll hopefully get out for the last couple of rounds this year, get the new truck tested, providing it's all built and ready to go. But I say, Wayne and the guys down there doing a fantastic job with it, and you've got We Well Group down there doing some of the fabrication work around the corner. They've been a great help with it all screens with all windscreens, channel commercials. So again, without these guys and these sponsors, for me, I just can't go racing. So I'm so appreciative of them. I really am. It's so important for me, and I can't thank them enough. And I hope they realise just how much I do appreciate them all. And but not just the sponsors, everybody that's involved. Wayne Easton and the team again. I know we keep mentioning him, but the man's a legend. If it wasn't for him, again, I wouldn't be out there. If it wasn't for Tavis,
he is a pleasure to work with, though, isn't he? He's such a nice guy.
He's got one of the biggest hearts in the paddock, and he's such a character, such a nice guy.
I'll try and get some footage of him as well. He's been doing some great tours in the tracks in the evenings as well, especially when like the NHS clap movement and that was going. He was out there, wasn't he? Riling on the locals,
All his trucks have been running the rainbows and bits on, and supporting his,
nice family to be involved in.
Very much so, and obviously Wayne and both Joanne raced in the trucks themselves as well. That's it's nice to see. It's always nice, to see them both out there, and Wayne and Joanne both almost took a back seat last year for me to be able to race the trucks, and and I always raced Wayne's truck, and that just shows you again what a stand-up guy he is.
Definitely.
Because if I couldn't have used his truck last year, then I probably wouldn't have got out there. So it's just I'm a lot. But as I do to everybody that's involved, family, friends that come and support. When we turn up at a race meeting now, we turn up with our own little community, if you like, with sponsors, friends, and family.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, one person that we're going to be missing from that now is my mum. Unfortunately, passed away at the start of this year. So. She'll be sadly missed when we go racing again, but she'll be up there watching, I'm sure. So when we get back at it next year, that'll be an extra bit of push to win that championship.
Yeah, exactly, and ever more reason to do the business.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she'll be urging you on up there.
Yeah, my mum and dad have, again, started karting when I was 10 years old, and if it was, they're fully behind me. It was a family thing. We'd go there, 4 of us. My mum, my dad, and my brother would be off away in tents to start with. Then we had the luxury of an old motorhome, and. But we never really had the budget to run properly. We'd probably run on a budget at the very best of 5-6 grand a year. We'd have one engine for testing, one engine for racing. cadet kart, and my dad used to spend hours up with Guy Butler Henderson, tuning the engine up on his little dyno there. And we were up against Jensen Button, whose dad built the best engines in cadet kart and karting, Dan Weldon, and so it was tough. So we did all right with it. You know, when I was 11, we were lying equal second with Button in the British Cadet Karting Championship, and a week or two before the last round, we were at Blackbush at Camberley, and somebody spun on the inside of me and rolled me over and broke my collarbone. So that took us out the running, and then it was up to Junior Britons the next year, and just struggled a bit with budget. So, you know, it's always been tough, and that's always been the hardest thing for me to stay out there racing, is finding the money to go racing at the end of the day.
And you've always been reasonable with your ambitions as well, haven't you? You've like naturally taken each step. You've worked hard for it, haven't you? Found the proper support for it as well. Yeah,
I'd like to think I've worked hard for it. I've not tried to jump up the ranks into something where, for instance, you know, there's been a few times where I could have probably gone and jumped in touring cars. There's definitely been a few times where I could have gone and jumped in a touring car, maybe not for a season, maybe for a few rounds here and there.
Yeah.
But I've not felt that it would be a competitive enough car. So for me, I was always, you know, I want to be competitive at what I do. I want to give myself the best chance.
That's it. Yeah.
So therefore, it worked to stay Clio racing, and then in the end, we had a point to prove with with WD, and win a championship with myself driving and helping run the team and engineer the cars, and we did that in the final year. So that was a good time to leave Clios and move on to something else.
I've always been a huge fan of the Clio Cup Championship. Like, it looks so much fun to be out there, proper good racing, and I think Wayne definitely enjoyed working with you, didn't he?
Oh yeah,
but it was a hard fought battle though, winning that last championship, wasn't it?
I mean, it was
politics going on and stuff.
Yeah, lots of politics, and maybe where I was involved with running the team more meant I was maybe more involved with politics and that side of it than I've been previously, and so in the end it was good to step away. And as much as I've spent what 18 years I think it was in the Clios on and off, and raced I think about 13 of those out the 18 years, 13 seasons out the 18 years. It's been mega, but it was time to move on, and I've not missed it because I've just enjoyed the truck so much.
Yeah.
It's so different. The fan base. The fans are great when you go truck racing as well. They really are. You know, I sign far more autographs when we go truck racing than I've ever done Clio racing. And,
really?
You think that would be the other way around.
Yeah, you would.
So,
there is definitely. We were talking about this to a few other teams though this week. There's definitely a proper family feel with the fans at truck racing, especially.
Yeah, it's
sort of feel connected.
It's a really nice, friendly, laid-back atmosphere at the truck racing. Everybody's happy to talk to everybody. The rivalry is still there, but whereas on the Toka package it can be, what's the word for it? I suppose it's a little bit. People tend to lock heads a little bit more. There can be a bit. Whereas with it's just
more standoffish, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit more, just a bit more friendly and fun to be around, and that for me is really important going racing. You know, and it's something that I teach to everybody that I work with. You know, the guys that I teach that race is one of the most important things is to enjoy yourself out there, because let's face it, I'm a lucky man, and so is anybody that gets to go racing. It's what most men dream of doing, and so lucky to be out there doing it. And if you're not enjoying it, you've got to look at why you're not enjoying it, because you should be. So fun is so important with it. It really is. You
certainly opened my eyes today, because I knew you were fast on tarmac, but it turns out you're actually quick on water as well.
Yeah, so
an aquatic champion.
That was really interesting actually. So in 2012, I got a chance to go jet ski racing in the Aquacross Championship in the UK, and that was something that was completely new to me. I'd had a few stand-up jet skis before, but never really ridden the sit on jet skis much, the ride on skis, and managed to get a deal together. And next thing I knew, I was out racing this lovely brand new Sea-Doo ski, 260 horsepower. And we managed to win the Sea-Doo Challenge Championship that year, first year out on it, and which I was so surprised at, because first time I got on it, I felt so out of my depth in it. I really did. You know, the quick guys were really kicked my arse, and got to the second round up at Hull, and in the second race there on the Sunday, I really gave it absolutely everything I had, and I could see the quickest guys disappearing away in front of me on their Kawasaki's, which was slightly quicker ski. I finished the race, and the guy that was on the same ski as me, one of the guys that was on the same ski as me, came over oh, well done, you've won. And I was like, what do you mean? No, you were miles ahead. I couldn't even see you were that far ahead. He said, no. He said, you left us at the start and we couldn't catch you. You were miles ahead of us. And I was really shocked because I just was getting demobilised, thinking, how can you go any faster on one of these and not do it? But luckily enough, that was it, and it sort of clicked from there on in, and we won almost every race in our class to the end of the year then, and took the championship with it, which was really nice. Got to meet some wonderful people, some really nice guys.
Yeah.
One of the ideas behind it was to try and win a championship on land and sea in the same year, and we finished second in the Clios that year, and I managed to win the Aquacross CD Challenge Championship. So
It would have been quite something though, that, wouldn't it? But
yeah, it
just
really would.
unfortunate.
It really would. It's not something I've ruled out completely for the future, going back and doing it, but also have a 3-year-old as well now, so life priorities move around a little.
So, reflecting back on last year in the British Championship, what would you say was one of the highlight moments for you? Like,
Our first
it was
win
quite an action-packed season, wasn't it, for you?
Very action-packed, and you know, I was so green to it at the start of the year. Massive learning curves for me last year. It really was. So there was just so much to take in to start with. One of the big things I think was probably winning my first race.
Yeah.
Nürburgring was a massive head turner for me to see the European Championship and how big it is, the crowd, the support there. I mean, that was fantastic. It really was. Obviously, that's now become my ultimate goal would be to try and race in the European FIA Championship. But we've got business to do here in the UK first. I'd like to get out. One thing I'm a firm believer in is you need to make your way up through the ranks in motorsport, whatever you do. And it's no good starting at the top, and you need to build through the ranks. So Division 2 is the place for us to start. And then if we can make it through to Division 1 and then eventually into the FIA Championship, fantastic. But certainly the UK Championship's what we're aiming for.
I think that's a very realistic outlook to have, and like you learn every time you go out there. You said even with your experience, driving the truck's very different, isn't it?
It's so different, and there's you've even just from the sheer size and weight of the thing, you've got to be you've always got to be very respectful in whatever you're driving of everybody else that's around you, and the dangers that are out there, and it's even more so in a truck because they're big, heavy pieces of kit, and we've seen what they can do in big accidents. You've only got to look at the accident that Wayne and Joanne had at Donington a few years back, and there's capability. I mean, there isn't always the capability of massive accidents, but when you've got something that weighs that much, it does take up a bit more. Things don't stop. I remember if you get it wrong, it's just not going to stop in the same way a car does.
I think I worked it out once. A fully fledged race truck at 100 miles an hour has over double the inertia of an Aston Martin, say GT3 at 200 miles an hour. So that's something to be considered. That takes a little bit more.
Come a wet track, you certainly notice it as well. I mean,
a little bit more
I remember
fine handling. Yeah.
First time I drove in the wet, I think it was possibly at Snetterton actually when I raced Wayne's truck back in 2017, and I remember just coming down to the first hairpin at Snet and just. The one you haven't got the feeling brake pedal like you have in a car because obviously it's an air system in there, and it doesn't feed directly back to your foot the same way as it would do. So a lot easier to lock a wheel in the wet, and I just remember locking a wheel and just thinking, oh no, this is just so heavy and so big and it's just not going to stop. And I was expecting to end up on the A11 somewhere heading down to the first hairpin, but managed to get it round somehow. So it's quite different in that respect, it really is, and big learning curves, and that's where you've just got to be very respectful of that the size of what you're driving around the circuit.
Well, seeing as we've come to your crib today, we're going to go for a little tour and have a little, what's the word I'm looking for, tuition lesson on your fantastic setup I've witnessed you on downstairs.
We'll go downstairs and turn the Xbox on, shall we? And,
you're definitely a racing driver, and you ain't got no time for EastEnders downstairs.
No, definitely not. No, whenever I can. I'm so something with COVID in the lockdown. I'm asthmatic, so I've furloughed from work. I've been trying to just be very, very sensible, and as I believe we all should be doing at this time. And so therefore, I've had a lot of time at home. So there's two things that I've done mainly in that time. On top of daddy daycare, because the little one wasn't at nursery for a long time, and obviously myself not working, my wife's been working from home here, and so it's been fantastic to spend some time with my daughter. But the other things that I've done is I've built a scale electrics track on an 8x4 board for us to bring racing, and that'll all be, have some trucks, and hopefully done when it's finished all in our proper race colours. And that's had a lot of time going into that. It's all hardwired.
It looks very, very pretty, very, very pretty.
So,
and you're going to have a little bash up with the fans,
yeah, so we'll have that out for fans to come and have a go on. That'll come out for selected times when we've got a bit of time out the front of the awning. And
probably not Pembrey with the weather.
Yeah. The only thing with it is it doesn't like being out in the sun, and it won't like being out in the rain, so we will have to choose our times to get that one out.
Probably snap.
But but the other thing that I've done as well is I've bought a steering wheel, pedals and bits for the Xbox, and got into some racing in there. So I'm about to start doing some online championship racing, and with Wayne's son Callum Easom on there. So he has a team already going, which is PAC, which is PACC, which is pure adrenaline controlled correctly. So I thought that was quite a cool name for the team.
Me too, very impressive.
And obviously Candee RaceWorks are on the cars as well, and you'll see some of the other sponsors like Tacosys, for instance, on there. As well,
he's been cutting the mustard, young Callum, though, hasn't he? He's been proving a point out on PAC Motorsport. He's had a fair set of wins, I think.
Yeah, I think he's been doing really well. As I say, I'm so new to it still.
Well, I hope he doesn't show you up, Paul. I really hope he don't.
Well, he certainly has been to start with. I've got a bit of pace to find there on Forza, and I've been playing the new Assetto Corsa game that's just come out, so I've probably had a couple of hours on that so far, and that's been getting quite interesting. And the other one that I really love is Dirt 4 with the rally game and the rally stages and the rallycross. It's busy, and it's quite physical, even on just on the game there. I don't know if I can call it a sim or not, because it's the Xbox and it's not quite sim level equipment, but it's a start for me to get into, and it's certainly great fun, that's for sure. I mean, I've got a permanent smile on my face when I'm on there, as you'll probably see in a bit.
Yeah, let's get down.
Let's go.
So we are here live with Mr. Paul Rivett, making his way up through the field in British truck racing with tank pull trucks on Forza. So you're a big advocate of Brands Hatch, aren't you, Paul? It's one of your favourite tracks.
Love it. Home circuit for me. Know it like the back of my hand. Worked there at the race school. Won many races there in various different classes, and home from home it really is. And the only circuit I've been to this year, in fact. So
I think as well, as a fan's point of view, it's like a natural amphitheatre as well, which makes it extra special. You can literally see all the action on the Indy circuit anyway, can't you, from one point?
It's got to be, the best spectator circuit in the country from that point of view, isn't it? If you stand in the right place, you can see the whole thing. And there's a lot of circuits where, wherever you stand, it's 2 or 3 corners. So it's fantastic. I've spent a fair amount of time sitting up in Paddock Hill Grandstand. And I'm somebody that definitely prefers to be behind the wheel rather than watching it. I've still spent a lot of time there.
We've just gone through your favourite bend, haven't we, at Paddock? We're making your way up through the pack of the masterclass, but we will get a hot lap from you, won't we?
We will indeed.
On how to do it when you get to the front.
Let's see if we can clear some traffic. A little bit deep into Graham Hill. It's alright, we're on the power early.
It's almost reminiscent of the M25 at the minute, isn't it, with the amount of trucks on track.
And one of the big things I found with the switch to truck racing as well is they are just so big on the track. So, the respect you have to have for everybody out there and give them that little bit more room is quite a lot. One of the other big things I've learned is they're a lot longer than a car. So when you make a move on somebody, that move you've got to be a lot further alongside. You all of a sudden have to change your perception.
Dropping to 7th at the minute.
I have seen better examples of driving around Brands.
Mr. Eason, team boss, live with you. How are you?
I'm living the dream as always, mate.
Looking well. We've got some truck racing on. There's a backdrop to your beautiful picture here. We've had a good day, haven't we, Paul?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's It's with Bradley driving rather than me before you tell me I'm not allowed to get in one of your trucks again.
Are you excited about the coming season, Wayne?
This is where you want me to be honest, or you want me to lie?
Yeah, lie.
I really, really can't wait. I've never been this excited about anything.
We're definitely gearing up for next year rather than this year now, aren't we? So
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think if you I think it's sensible. To be fair, mate. I think you know, no one could have foreseen the circumstances that we're in. But yeah, it has to be that way. I think it has to be that way.
yeah, very strange times at the moment. So but it's given you and the guys a great chance to put the new truck together as well, though, isn't it? So fingers crossed we'll have that out for the last couple of rounds this year, and see what we can do with it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're not taking the engine out of my one yet, just in case it's not. But
How's it looking though, Wayne?
It'll be all right. Little Tom, bless him. I've been talking to Little Tom. He's on about coming down and getting stuck in. You know, I think once we start getting getting underway, I think it's going to fall into place quite quickly. If I'm honest, to be fair, I think that's where we're at with that. I think it looks kind of worse than it is, to be fair. But you know, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelette and all that jazz.
What else is new in the WDE world? We hear you've just bought another truck on the fleet, haven't you, recently?
Yeah. We've got another tractor unit that's waiting to go on the road. We've got a demonstrator from Renault at the minute, which is, to be fair, performing quite well, apart from the fact it's broken down. But yeah, I mean, they don't last forever, but you expect them to last more than 2,500 kilometres. But
that's the point, actually, Paul. Being a Renault champion, did you ever break down like a proper French car should? Or
what, in a Renault? Yeah. we had many breakdowns in a Renault, but then let's face it, what race car hasn't had a breakdown? And to be honest, actually, the Clios are about as reliable as a race car comes. So you know, Wayne will second that, I'm sure. So
I think that Clio 4 was, I think, one of the best race cars built, pound for pound. For reliability, for for strength, everything. They were phenomenal. I mean, there was no weak point with any of it, was there? Really?
No.
Only the drive.
Yeah, value for money was absolutely amazing with them as well. They definitely hit the hit it on the head with them.
As team boss, Wayne, over the years working with Paul, what's been the most testing thing he's done between you both?
To be fair, mate, it kind of all went wrong when I met him.
Oh.
With Paul in the team, we definitely accelerated, massively quickly as a team to be one of the best teams out there, if not the best team out there. And I think also then it sort of maybe gave Paul the confidence in his ability to set a car up, you know.
Do you miss the Clio days, Wayne?
It's a good team. It's a good team effort. You can't have just a team of individuals. It has to be everybody, working together for the same old goal.
Yeah.
We ended up with a fantastic team there by the end of it. We worked.
You evolve with the team all the time.
Me and Paul were just discussing earlier. We've seen in the virtual world as well. Mr. Easton Jr., Callum's making a bit of a name for himself, isn't he?
Yeah, we need to do something with him, to be fair.
And I'd love to work with Callum. It's been great fun doing the online stuff with him, and I'm about to get a bit more involved in that and start doing my first proper races on there. And Callum's been amazing with that, and he's really good on there. And when he took me around at Blighton in the Clio before, in the Clio Junior, he was up against guys that had a lot of driving experience, and he did amazingly well against them. I was very impressed with him. So I really look forward and relish the chance to do more with him and see where we can get him to.
And I've also sensed a little bit of fear in Paul's voice saying that this afternoon. Minor fear.
Just tell him, Bradley, it'll be like Rory Green at Graham Hill all over again.
For anybody that doesn't know, that was where we had a suspect. In fact, that was the first day we ever met, Wayne, wasn't it? And
well, I was paid by Pyro to disable you, mate.
And then you got lumbered with me.
Yeah, I know, but it was out of guilt, to be I'm still feeling sorry for you now. Otherwise, we'd have got rid of you a long time ago.
So for anyone that doesn't know the story, so first day, you know, working with Wayne, I was teaching Rory Green in a Fiesta at Brands, and we had a car failure, just one of those things coming into Graham Hill Bend, and went head on up into the barrier by the road that runs behind the pits, and I ended up with a snapped Achilles tendon, and this was like a week and a half before the last round of the championship, so cost us the fight for the championship that year. I was off work for 4 to 6 months, you know. It's still not quite the same now, so yeah, we started with a bang, shall we say.
Yeah, it was a job well done, mate. We was proud of that.
Yeah.
Well, it's been good catching up with you, Mr. Boss, and keep up the sterling work.